Do that now and show you some new stuff we have going at Transistor. Let me just share this link a few places, make sure the Twitter integration and everything's working. Periscope is gone, so we'll see what happens here. Oh yeah, I can see it on Twitter. All right, so I'm just going to share this here. And also in this Slack channel as well. Maybe to start, I'll show you, I pre-recorded this new feature. We just did an integration with Descript, and I'm really excited about it. I really like Descript for editing podcasts. So let me start with this, and then I'll show you the really cool dynamic audio insertion stuff we're working on in a bit here. So let's start with this video file here. Hopefully this works. Hey everybody, I have something really cool to show you today, especially if you're already using Descript, this app here, to record and edit your podcast and then upload it to Transistor, because now we have an integration between Descript and Transistor. Let me show you how it works. So this is Descript. It's a really cool tool. I like it because you can edit your podcast visually. So for example, if I wanted to remove this audio, I just highlight the text, click delete, it removes the corresponding audio. And now I can publish this MP3 file directly to Transistor. So I'm going to click publish, I'm going to click export, and now you'll see there's an option to choose Transistor when you export. So we'll click that. We're going to keep this the same. This will be the title of our episode. We're going to show the transcript, and we're going to click publish. All right, so now it's been published. We just need to click this to go to Transistor. And now we choose the podcast that this is for. It's already gotten our episode title from Descript. It's processing the audio. Oh, audio looks good. It's going to process the transcript. That's done. And now we just click this button and it imports everything, the title, our audio file, and the transcript from Descript into Transistor, all in one step. So now all I have to do is add a summary. Here's a new feature, add our show notes, and click publish, and it's done. It's the easiest, fastest way to record and edit your podcast in Descript and then publish it and distribute it to all your listeners in Transistor. Really excited about this integration, and it's live right now. If you use Descript, you can see Transistor in your export menu. All right, so that was our new Descript feature. And that's already live right now, so people can use that wherever, especially if they're already using Descript for editing their podcast. The next thing I want to show you is something we've dreamed about forever, and that is dynamic audio insertion. So this allows people to dynamically add pre-roll audio and post-roll audio to their podcast. And I'll show you it here. It's still in beta, so I can't guarantee you that it will all go perfectly, but I think we've worked out all of the kinks. So here's a pretty common use case. I have this podcast I started in 2012, Product People, and it still gets lots of downloads and listens. Here's some of the listens in the past 14 days. And so I want to dynamically prepend some audio. I recorded it over here. So here's an update. I want to tell people what's happened since I finished producing this podcast. And so I'm going to create a new campaign here in Transistor. I'm going to call it Update from 2021. And I'm going to create an ad. So actually, first I'll just create this campaign. Now I'm going to create an ad with pre-roll audio. So add, and I'll just put pre-roll update. And I'm going to upload this MP3 that I recorded previously. All right, so now I've got a pre-roll update. The audio is right here. I could play that. This is Justin speaking to you from the future, October 2021 to be exact. And I wanted to give you and I can go back now to the campaign. And I can select now that pre-roll audio. So here's the pre-roll update. I can also add post-roll audio, and I can add dynamically new show notes before the episode and after the episode. So I actually liked what I did. Let me just go over to the episodes here. I think I like what I did on this one here. Let me see. Or was it on? I've already done this with another old show, Build and Launch. Let's see what I did here. Oh yeah, update. So I'm just going to select this, and I'm going to make this my update from 2021 at the end of my show notes. So this will automatically add this text to every single episode I've ever published on the podcast. I think you can see how this would be helpful, especially if you have a big back catalog of episodes that are older, that are still, people are still listening to them, but you want to give them an update or announce a new launch, add new sponsors, that kind of thing. So here's my ending show notes, and maybe I'll actually do a pre-roll as well. So I'm going to save these changes. Let's see if I can find the pre-roll I did. I mean, not pre-roll, post-roll I did for, yeah, let's see if, oh, here we go. Here's a good post-roll. So I'm going to export this as an MP3. Just post-roll. And I'm going to add that as well. So go over to my ad inventory, new ad, post-roll reminder, and we're going to upload this MP3 here. Perfect. Create the ad. So now I have a pre-roll update and a post-roll reminder. I could even create more of these if I wanted to have multiple MP3s or sounds to choose from. But back in my campaign, I can now select my post-roll reminder here, and I can save these changes. The other neat thing is that it will automatically give you a preview of what this is going to sound like once the episode is published. So I'm going to just put my headphones on and listen to that, make sure it sounds okay. Hi, this is Justin speaking to you from the future, October 2021 to be exact. And I wanted to give you an update because this podcast, which I started in 2012 with Kyle Fox, changed my life. Today, I am the co-founder of Transistor.fm, which is a podcast hosting platform I started with John Buda. And if it wasn't for this show, I would have never met him. In fact, this show inspired me to want to make my own products. This show created connections that helped me get new jobs, new friends, and eventually culminated in me starting the business I have today. It's weird to have people still listening to these old episodes, and I just wanted you to know that as you listen, and you hear me exploring these topics, and you hear me interviewing these people, I just wanted to let you know that all of this ended up mattering. It came to fruition in me starting my own successful SaaS company in 2018 with John, 6 years after starting this show. I hope that encourages you as you explore these old episodes. All right, let's get into this episode. Just a reminder, if you want to know what I'm up to now, head over to transistor.fm/Justin. All right, so that's what the episode will sound like, the pre-roll and post-roll. Sounds good to me. And here's the show notes. This is actually the first time I've dynamically added show notes, so we'll see how what happens here. But this looks good to me, so I'm going to save this again. And once I enable this, once I flip this switch, it's going to take all my past episodes, slot in that pre-roll audio at the beginning, slot in the post-roll audio at the end, and then slot in these ending show notes after my existing show notes. So let's do that. Save changes. All right, so now we're processing the episode audio. And it's going to go through all, in this case, 101 episodes, and add that new sound like I mentioned. Let's actually click here and see if it's already done the show notes. Okay, so it hasn't done the show notes yet. So, and this can take some time. So we'll let that pause for, we'll let that kind of work its way through, because again, processing all that audio, it has to go into a queue. It takes a little while to do all that. By the way, see what's happening here on, just make sure everything's still working on Restream. Perfect. Great. Yeah, and if you are watching live and you want to comment, I don't know if you can still comment on, probably can't comment on Twitter anymore. That was the cool thing about Periscope, is you could actually leave comments, but now you can't. You can leave a comment on YouTube if you're watching live there. I kind of miss all those old Periscope comments, though. That was one of the fun things about going live, was seeing everybody interact. Okay, so let's see what's happening here as it's processing the audio. Looks like this one's done. Let's go into this one here. So now it's saying, here's the campaign, and doesn't look like it's done the show notes yet. Maybe that comes later. Let's play this and see if the audio is updated. Hi, this is Justin speaking to you from the future, October 2021 to be exact. I was on the phone with him the other day describing. So there we go. That worked. It's automatically added the audio at the beginning there. Let's go to the end here. Oh, and I think, hi, Mr.fm. And that's my post-roll audio. Nice. So pretty cool. I think, as you can see, it's still working through all the episodes. So that's that. I just love this idea of being able to update people in this whole back catalog. It would take me forever to manually edit all these episodes, but to be able to do that live is awesome. All right. And there we go. Let's see the when I think it was, I'm going to try to find the, somebody tweeted me because they'd listened to an episode of Build Your SaaS. Let's see if I can find it. It was such a funny tweet. Because they were like, I was listening to the show, and to hear you speak from the future was so odd. Let's see if I can find it on Twitter here. Oh. I can't remember who was saying this. I might not be able to find it live. But anyway, it was neat. Someone was listening to these old episodes here on Build and Launch, and had said he knew it was an older podcast, but then he was able to hear the update from the future, and he said, whoa, that was so cool to know I was listening to an old episode, but to have an update like that. Okay, so we're still working through processing these audio files, and my guess is that the show notes gets inserted after the audio cue is done, so we'll have to wait for that to happen. And again, you got to be patient. We got to take some time to go through all of this. But the nice thing is it does it dynamically in the background, and then you can you just kind of leave it and then go from there. I got some comments. This is cool. This is really sweet. The Descript integration is insane. That makes me want to create a podcast with transcription. Yeah, that part is so neat. I use Descript all the time, so being able to, with one step, get your MP3 into Transistor with a transcript is really, really cool. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Good to see ya. Thank you. Future Justin is a cool guy. Yeah, that's good. Man, the Twitch viewers showing up here. By the way, Sam Podlagar, is my audio synced on Twitch yet, or is it still not quite right? Because that was a problem for a long time. Just on Twitch for some reason, not on any of the other platforms. Oh, so glad some people showed up on the live stream chat there. Again, without Twitter comments like from Periscope, my comments and reactions queue here is a lot less than it used to be. Hey, YouTube comments sometimes are generally were the second most popular, but now we got Twitch. Okay, so it's improved a little bit. Well, that's good, because I don't know what to do about that, because I've created a delay. There's a mic delay here in my recording software, in my live streaming software, and it works everywhere else, but not on Twitch for some reason. So yeah, right now just demoing this feature, showing folks a couple things that we just built for Transistor. We have a new engineer, if you missed it. It's John, my co-founder, and Jason Pearl is our newest employee. And so now there's 4 of us working full-time on Transistor. And Jason and John have been working on this new dynamic audio insertion feature, which allows you to set up these campaigns. In this case, I'm doing a update from the future where I show folks what I'm doing now. So just saying, hey, I started this podcast back in 2012, but here's an update. So I exported this as an MP3, added it here, and it's automatically adding it to all of my episodes, which is really, really neat. Yeah, so dynamic audio is finally happening. It was something we didn't think we were going to be able to do, and then now we can, because I guess all it took was us increasing our staff to 4. Yeah, it's really, really exciting. I'm so glad we've been able to get this going. And yeah, that new Descript integration is super cool. I can actually show you that too. So now, after you've edited a podcast in Descript, and Descript is it's like using a word processor to edit your audio. It's so neat. You click publish, export, and now Transistor is right inside of Descript. So you can click that link or that button, and it will bring your audio and your transcript directly into Transistor, which is super cool. Makes Sam want to start a podcast just to access that. So yeah, it's really neat. Yeah. Boom. Yes. Boom. Hey, Mike. Good to see ya. Glad we got some YouTube watchers now. Yeah, so we're going to release this to the $49 plan and up. So the $49 plan is going to get, for dynamic audio insertion, they're going to get pre-roll and post-roll. I think that will make Transistor the most affordable, the simplest implementation of this, but also the most affordable the most affordable option for all podcast hosting providers that are doing dynamic audio insertion. So $49 plan is what we're thinking. And then $99 plan will get some additional features like mid-roll and scheduling, which is what Jason's building right now. Okay. So Jason's letting me know you won't see the show notes in the editor view. They get added dynamically to the RSS feed. So let's go and check that out here. Let's take a look at the RSS feed. And we'll have to actually view source for this. So let's see, where is that? Do I have it yet? 2021. Looks like it's still updating. But that's good to know. Yeah, so the idea is that you can, in this case, I'm using it for an old podcast. I've got this old library. And so I just want to update people on what I'm doing now. And the best way to do that is to dynamically insert audio in front at the beginning of the episode and at the end. The other, I mean, there's tons of other uses for this. There's one story I often reference when we were building this feature is Tim Ferriss was doing a book launch, and he at this point had like 330 episodes or something, and he hired somebody to manually download all of his episodes, stitch in some audio saying, hey, it's Tim Ferriss, and I've got a brand new episode coming out. A brand new book coming out on whatever, September 21st. And so he had someone manually download all 330 episodes, manually insert that audio. Hey, check out my book launch, it's coming up. Re-upload all the episodes. And then once the book launch was done, he had them manually re-upload all of the original episodes. And in this case, once this campaign is done, so if I want to remove this campaign, all I have to do is go in here and uncheck this, and it will disable all of this pre-roll and post-roll audio and return the episodes to their original form. So this is basically what it took Tim Ferriss staff and hours of manual labor to do. Now you can do it just here in Transistor automatically, saving you hours and hours of time. Also, this would be great for folks who are doing sponsorships, who are doing ads, all that kind of stuff. Okay, whoa, I've got so much. I had no idea about the Descript integration. Thanks for showing. Yeah. So we're just announcing this right now. So that's why it's I've just published this in the changelog, and it's going to be announced publicly very soon. Where I believe Descript is also going to do some public announcements about it. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Okay, I'm getting tons of comments here. Let me just go through. How come I can't add this now? Hold on. For some reason, I can't add new comments here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so mid-roll as well. Hey, Simon. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up on YouTube. Yeah, if you weren't tech savvy, doing it manually would take forever. So, hey, Mateus, good to see you. Take my money. Nice. That's what we like to hear, Mike. Again, anybody doing product launches on their own show. I have this theory that podcast sponsorships, or like using your podcast to promote your own brand. Actually, I know, Mike, you agree with this, because Mike's doing this with veteran-owned businesses. But, using a podcast to promote your own brand is going to be, that's going to be the magic with this. You can build an audience with your own podcast and then easily announce new stuff like a launch or whatever, your business, and then automatically have it added to your podcast back library, right? The backlog of episodes. Yeah, the 400 hour work week. If you had to do it manually, for sure. Which customers do you have in mind for dynamic audio features? Between creators and brands, do you think it will use it more? So I think, we don't really know until we get people using it. I can tell you the folks who are using it right now are high volume accounts. So we have it in 3-4 people's accounts right now. And it's folks who have, a mature podcast. Most of them are using it to promote their own stuff, like their own events, their own products, to give people updates on what's happening in their lives now. But I think we will see, like I have messages and DMs and text messages with folks who actually switched away from us to Megaphone, but didn't want to. They wanted to stick with us because they feel like we have better customer service. They like our interface better. It's way simpler. And so I'm hoping that we'll see some of those folks who don't need, especially Midroll's ad marketplace, that will come back to, Megaphone's ad marketplace. They'll come back to Transistor and be using this. They're selling sponsorships manually usually, and they just need a way of delivering those ads. So I think that'll be the main use case. Hey, how's it going? Glad you found my channel. I love how you guys ship things that are super helpful all the time. Still planning my own podcast, but hopefully I'll be a Transistor customer by the end of the year. Oh yeah. I wish I had confetti. Is there no confetti here? I need I need a confetti option. That's great, Matthias. I got sound effects. Can I play these? Yeah, that's great. We'd love to have more people sign up. And with all the stuff we're adding now, it's just going to be better and better, especially for independent creators, independent podcasters. We're building this specifically for folks that might have 500 downloads an episode, 1,000 downloads per episode. Even we have customers who have 100 downloads per episode, and they're selling sponsorships. They're getting leads. So there's a lot of benefit to this outside of the folks who are, doing hundreds of thousands of downloads. We want to serve the regular podcaster who has a show, who has an audience, and wants to access some of these power features. Yeah, totally. I agree. Branded podcasts are for sure one of the best uses of, especially from a business perspective, as opposed to trying to get advertising. We think, especially for Transistor, like starting the Build Your SaaS podcast was really crucial for us, especially early on, sharing our story, getting early traction, getting fans, and now we're kind of benefiting from that. Keep these comments coming. These are great. I'm just there's people who are. Oh, I just found a a bug. Look at this. I'm gonna have to share this with Jason. I'll show this publicly here too. Hold on. Yaz just found a bug. but we can share it live. That's okay. Let's see if I can find this. Where is it? Well, let me try to copy it again. If you have the Twitter integration live on your Transistor account, it looks like it will spam your account as it regenerates episodes. So that's something we need to fix. Thanks for letting me know. Maybe I'll disable that right now. Let's go to, I don't know if this will actually work, but let's disconnect the Twitter account for now. Probably will not actually stop everything that's already in the queue, but I appreciate folks letting me know. Okay, so let's go back to all the comments here. Yeah, Simon is saying Matthias should definitely start a podcast. Oh yeah, so if you have new applications or new programs joining, you can basically use your back catalog to talk about real-time stuff that's happening right now. So yeah, that's a great use case. Yeah, I agree 100% with this. Can I play party mode? Okay, I better stop doing that. That's super cheesy. But yeah, this, like, small companies who can launch stuff frequently, Transistor, Fathom, Laravel. There's there's Derek Reimer doing SavvyCal. There's Peter Soom doing Reform. There's so many of us independent companies that are small, under 5 people, under 6 people, who are able to have a really strong launch cadence. And that's the whole dream, is to have a small, calm, profitable company that's able to offer better customer service and at the same time have I lost my train of thought. Great customer service. Oh, and at the same time have be launching new stuff all the time. Okay, I think people are laughing now at my Twitter debacle. So we have 4 full-time people at Transistor now. We have myself, John Buda, co-founders, and Helen doing customer support from the UK, and now Jason doing programming, engineering from Ohio. And it feels good. I think we might add one more person, maybe in customer support, or I don't know. You never know who would add, but I think maybe one more person is in the cards in next year. But I think around 5 people is where we'd like to stick for now. What would you do to validate a podcast idea? I've wanted to do a podcast for a long time, but I don't want to have the pain of creating something that no one wants, if that makes sense. Oh, man. That is such a great question. I have a few ideas on this. One is just like a product, you want to see demonstrated demand for that kind of content. And there's a few different ways you can find this. So one thing I would do is I would go to sites like Podchaser, sites like Podacy, even go to Twitter, and search for stuff like great episode and see what people are recommending. What are people talking about? If you want to see just people who you follow who are recommending episodes, select this. And I think this will help give you an idea of what kind of content, what kind of podcast episodes do people listen, and then they're compelled to share them. So here we have James sharing this show. Evo is sharing this one. And we could just scroll through this and see, the people I follow, what kinds of episodes are they listening to and sharing. I think this will give you a good indication of, the kinds of, what kind of shows are people listening to, because you want to see demonstrated demand for that content. So this will give you a little idea, right? And also seeing how resonant are these things, like how many times are things getting retweeted and shared. Here's obviously NFTs are a big topic right now. So I think this is one place to look. I also would look and see what is being recommended on Podyssey. This is a really cool kind of social discovery app for podcasts. And I can scroll through here and see what people recommended and then why they recommended it. Like, what was it about this episode that kind of compelled them? So, yeah, you can scroll through here. I think also other types of content that you might be releasing that resonates is worth thinking about. So I just did this project with my daughter, who's 18, Gen Z perspective on podcasting. And while we were doing the research and discovery for this, we recorded some of our calls with the thought of, if this resonates, maybe we should do a few podcast episodes on like a Gen Z perspective on podcasting, but we could expand it to other topics. And I think this show would do well. Like if I did a show with my daughter on a Gen Z perspective on podcasting, on media, on post-secondary education, I think it would be that what's compelling about that is a lot of businesses and organizations are trying to figure out where Gen Z is at, which is one of the reasons this article really resonated. And so taking some of that demonstrated demand for this kind of content and turning it into a podcast, I think could be really compelling. And let's see if I can show you folks what I mean. So, so we had this phone call here that, where we talked about episodes she was discovering and how kind of podcasting works. And can I play?
I'm saying that because it's more educational. Like I feel like I'm getting more out of the experience, but her vlogs are more so like.
So I think there's something there, and that's kind of how I think about it, is taking where there's demonstrated demand for a topic that would fit well with podcasting and then doing that. And really, I have this checklist that I think is also helpful for new podcasters, because it kind of helps you get in mind of like kind of what you need to do. And the first thing I would do is just record a trailer episode and then put up a landing page to say, hey, here's an episode, sign up with, on an email list if you're interested. And I think we've done that here. So this is a landing page that we're going to create where people can sign up for the waiting list. And then if we decide to launch the podcast, they can hear about it here. I could even post a little trailer episode, like embed a trailer episode here. I've also done this on Card. Let me just switch to this view so I can log in. But I think I have, if you look at this, if I view the site, I need to embed a new episode, but you could have, a coming soon landing page like this. Let me actually update this so we have a episode. So I could embed my trailer. Do I have here, this would be a good one. So let's say I was trying to test out, best podcast ever and see if it was actually worth, pursuing. I recorded a quick trailer episode here. You see it's trailer, and I can just embed this here. Paste this in, save, publish. And now I could share this episode, and now people can actually get a taste of what I'm going to talk about by playing the trailer.
Hey.
So, give people a little taste of what they can expect. You can submit to all the apps and see if you get subscribers, and then also have a waiting list. Also have a waiting list so that people can get notified by email. And if you get people subscribing on Apple Podcasts and then Spotify, if you get people signing up for the email list and really kind of excited about the trailer episode, then that's a pretty good indication that maybe you should pursue that idea. Wow. Yeah, the demo demons are out. Jason. This is Jason who works for us. Yeah, that's a feature. Hey folks, this Twitter account still exists. That's funny. Okay. This is something else I've been trying to think about for my kids, because my kids are 18, 16, 13, and 12. And I want to try to communicate to them this idea of demonstrated demand. Like, how can you experience this pull of people knowing that there's going to be people who want something enough to go and search for it on Google and then take out their credit card and pay for it. And I think the challenge when you're in college is that your world is still pretty small. You haven't experienced enough of the world to observe demonstrated demand. And like, when I think back in my head, my first business was when I was in grade 12. My friend and I started holding, we held a rave in our little town of Stony Plain. And we did that because that's what we knew about. We had been going to parties in the big city, kind of 45 minutes away. And so all we knew, like when we were thinking about businesses, all we knew was events, parties, gigs, that sort of thing. And so that's what we ended up doing. It went well. There was demonstrated demand for it because we could see, thousands of kids showing up at these raves in Edmonton. And so when we did it in our little town, there's pent up demand for it. But what's interesting thinking back is that experience was helpful and was a stepping stone. But the bigger stepping stones were when I expanded my worldview, when I got out of my bubble, when I moved out of my small town, when I went to conferences and met people, when I started a podcast and started interviewing people from all over the world. Those are the things that kind of started expanding my worldview. And then based on kind of what I knew was possible, I started actually getting into motion, releasing podcasts, releasing projects, releasing little products, and then building up to the point where John and I launched Transistor. So if you're in college right now, my advice is to start launching something small, like look around and see what evidence of demand you can see right now. But don't be satisfied staying in your bubble. You really need to get out of your bubble, experience new industries, go and work for somebody, be a consultant for a variety of companies. Talk to your parents and your parents' friends and really get curious about what they do. That's been something else that's been really exciting, is being able to work with my daughter on that project that I showed you. She was able to get all these new insights. Like, her worldview was expanded as she's learning about RSS and the tech industry and the podcast industry. And I was sharing my screen with her. So we were like almost pair programming, working on this article. And I think it was really helpful for her and eye-opening for her. So those are the kinds of experiences I'd be going after if you were in college. Notice you barely promote your podcast episodes at all. Yeah, so we did a lot of our promotion for Build Your SaaS early on. We have a Twitter account that it goes out to, and I think now, especially Build Your SaaS, it's kind of just for the super fans. The arc of the show has kind of been completed. You know, it was kind of building when we started the company and we had zero revenue, and it peaked when we got to $30,000 a month or something. And, you know, since then, Transistors continued to grow in terms of revenue and customers. But the arc of the story is kind of done. And so the folks who still listen, which is about 2,000 or 3,000 people per episode, those are kind of the super fans, and we're making the show for them. We don't really, in this case, care if more people discover that particular show. So we did promote it quite a bit at the beginning, and we did experiments like, here, let's see if I can find this. So if I open up our stats, I can show you the, different things we've tried. One thing we did early on was we launched it on Product Hunt, which I think is technically not allowed anymore, but we did quite a bit of promotion on all of the channels that related to tech and startups. So Hacker News and all of those things. So if you look at the show, this is when we started it. And it kind of had this gradual, we were gradually growing. And then we had a big jump once we got to full-time income. And also we had a few big guests where in April of 2019, that really grew the show. And then around July 2020, that's when we started publishing less episodes. And again, the arc of the show, our download counts actually follow the arc of the show perfectly. This is like the whole story arc right here. So yeah, we're still releasing episodes. And, if we look in the past 30 days, we've got a big spike today because we just released a new episode for the first time in a while. But we're basically making the show now for the committed subscribers. And you can see kind of the gradual growth, and now we're slowly kind of losing subscribers now, but we have this committed group of about 1,500 people that's who we're making the show for. And we still have, every once in a while, we'll have a topic or an interview that will resonate. And, like this show here got almost 6,600 downloads. And that was published a year ago today, or a year ago, roughly. So, yeah, still thinking about it. This is helpful. Great. So here's Mike. I think one of the best pieces of advice I heard Justin give was once to take your insights and specializations and offer them to another group. Yeah. So if you're really good at, you're really good at development, but you're also software development, but you're also connected to the world of, lawyers and legal stuff, and you're excited about that customer, then it makes sense to take those skills to a group, a market category that, where you might have an advantage. This is something I've seen a lot of people do in the Shopify space, is they were consultants and they were kind of building websites for clients. And then once they noticed a pattern of people requesting certain features over and over again, they built that as a SaaS and then launched it for Shopify users, and it ended up being really good. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've got a whole series, Mike, on if you go to the Transistor YouTube channel. Let's see if I can find it here. So if you go to the Transistor YouTube channel, there is a playlist that podcast teardowns. I highly recommend this podcast teardowns if you're interested in podcast promotion, because I basically do case studies on individual podcasts and what I would do to promote those shows. So if you're interested in kind of my thoughts around podcast promotion, this playlist is a good one. And I should do another one of those videos. So if you have a podcast you want me to do a teardown on, let me know, and I'll record a new one and publish it to that playlist. All right, should we... I wonder if there's anything else we should cover. Glad that was helpful. If you haven't already, go check out, I wrote a ton of articles, especially while we were building Transistor. If you go to justinjackson.ca/bootstrap, you can see a ton of lessons I learned about building products, bootstrapping products. Okay, let's see here. Just making sure I'm getting messages in other places, so I want to make sure that we get this figured out. Okay. Any other questions before I end the live stream? Anything else you want to see? Oh, it looks like the dynamic audio insertion is done. So now all the episodes are live with new pre-roll, post-roll. By the way, go check out the podcast, like look it up on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Overcast, and see if the pre-roll audio is playing for you. That you can help us test this in real time. Go to productpeople.tv. I'll put it up here. Whoa, how come this is not working? So here we go. Test it out. productpeople.tv. Let's reduce this. There, I'll add this up here. Test it out. Productpeople.tv. Let us know if you hear the pre-roll and post-roll audio. And yeah, if we go over here, yeah, so all of the episodes have the new pre-roll, post-roll. If we go into here, get the campaign, and let's check the RSS feed again, see if that's updated. So if we go to here, go 2021, there we go. So now, do we have an update? Oh, maybe it's not in there yet. That might be a bug. I have to check it out. What was my pre-roll, my post-roll episode stuff was update from 2021. Is that on there? No, not yet. So we'll have to see why that's not working. But everything else is live. So yeah, check it out. Let us know. I've got comments going somewhere here. Oh, Jason's saying it's CDN stuff. Maybe I can hard refresh it. And oh, there we go. So now, update from 2021. What am I working on these days? Is now in the feed. So that post show notes, dynamic show notes insertion is working. That's really cool. Like to have that in, like being able to do calls to action and links in your show notes. Very, very cool. I agree, Mike. Very, very cool. Noob question. Oh no, this is a great question. SaaS is kind of saturated right now. Am I right? I think there is tons of opportunities still in SaaS. Because, and actually doing this project with my daughter, who's Gen Z, kind of showed this for me. There's a whole new generation of customers who are just becoming adults right now. Like my daughter is 18 and she's using, she needed to create a form for her survey for the article. And she's not familiar with, Typeform or any of those. She's looking for tools. And so she tried out Peter Soom's new survey tool, and she really liked it. She used Reform for it. So every day there's a new customer born, right? And there's going to be, especially in this next generation, a whole group of millennials and Gen Z who are just coming online as new customers, who are going to be getting jobs, who are going to have projects for their boss that they need to, hey, Cindy, get us a podcast hosting provider. Well, they could be a Transistor customer. Hey, Sadie, go find us a survey tool. Well, she could go find Reform. Hey, Jack, go find us a calendar booking tool. Well, they could go find SavvyCal instead of Calendly, right? So a lot of these markets, especially these markets and categories that have demonstrated demand, still have lots of space. And the other thing is a lot of these tools like Calendly is, when was that launched? It's probably launched a while ago. Let's see if we can find when it was launched. Might be able to find it in Crunchbase. So Calendly. Okay, so Calendly was founded, when was it founded? 2013. So Calendly's already, 8 years old? It's old. It's already old, and it was kind of the new tool. So to come out with something new and be the new kid on the block, to be the fresh face in SaaS, there's still lots of opportunity. Tools that have been around for 8 years have, maybe they've slowed down. Maybe they're not developing fresh features. Maybe they're not good for independents anymore or small businesses. We recently at Transistor switched to Crisp Chat, which is an alternative to Intercom. Intercom we found was too expensive for us. Crisp is relatively new, I think. Let's see how old they are. But, we were looking for a new chat tool. And so we found it, and we've been using it. So they were founded in 2015. Even they aren't that new anymore. But people, I would especially look for categories where people are looking for alternatives to whatever's, the current thing. So alternatives to HubSpot, alternatives to Libsyn, alternatives to Intercom, alternatives to MailChimp, alternatives to Kissmetrics. These are categories, especially if you have some sort of built-in advantage or strength, it's still worth going after them. This is something else I talk about quite a bit is, I think it's like advantage. indie entrepreneurs need to stack every advantage they can get. So whatever skills, capital, insights, channels, expertise, experience, community, connections, and partnerships you can build along the way, that's what you should be doing. And as a founder and an indie founder, the more of these you have in your pocket, the more you'll be able to compete against bigger competitors. And we are like, I don't know, 1.25% of the paid podcasting market. So we've been able to build a great business in a relatively small category, which is podcast hosting. And we have tons of room to grow because we're still only a single-digit percentage of the paid podcasting market. So, all right. I don't know. Maybe I've got good filters on here. I'm 41. We had Sadie Young, so that's what happens. If you get started early, then your kids get old while you're still relatively young. Yeah. Yes. I think observing, that was one of the cool things about doing this research project with Sadie, was seeing that this new generation has been informed by different experiences than what we had. You know, like for me, I grew up buying CDs at like HMV, and then eventually got my music for free from Napster while I was in college. But then right as I was graduating college, Steve Jobs introduces the iTunes store, and I could buy music tracks for $1 each. And that was right when I was starting to make money. So there's this perfect transition for me as I guess I'm a younger Gen X or older millennial. Perfect transition into me buying tracks from iTunes. But my daughter's experience is completely different. For her, you know, she was listening to Songza and then listening to music on YouTube, and then Spotify came out with their free trial, and her and all of her friends switched to that. So her listening habit for music was built in Spotify, and now Spotify has podcasts, and so that's where she's listening, which is why we see these big numbers for Spotify and podcast listening with Gen Z. So there's going to be all sorts of interesting new things to discover with this new generation. They don't discover products the same way. They don't know about all the existing tools. There's going to be lots of opportunity there, I think. Yeah. Yeah, four kids is a lot. My parenting advice is usually just stop at 2 if you're going to have kids, and don't have them so early. All right. I think I'm done. Unless there's any last minute questions, we've been able to show all those new features. I think I'll end by showing that Descript feature again for all of you that missed it. And definitely check out our dynamic audio insertion tool. We're going to be releasing that to all the accounts who are on our $49 and $99 plans relatively soon. And other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It was really fun going live and seeing everybody. Hey everybody, I have something really cool to show you today, especially if you're already using Descript, this app here, to record and edit your podcast and then upload it to Transistor, because now we have an integration between Descript and Transistor. Let me show you how it works. So this is Descript. It's a really cool tool. I like it because you can edit your podcast visually. So for example, if I wanted to remove this audio, I just highlight the text, click delete, it removes the corresponding audio. And now I can publish this MP3 file directly to Transistor. So I'm going to click Publish. I'm going to click Export. And now you'll see there's an option to choose Transistor when you export. So we'll click that. We're going to keep this the same. This will be the title of our episode. We're going to show the transcript, and we're going to click Publish. All right, so now it's been published. We just need to click this to go to Transistor. And now we choose the podcast that this is for. It's already gotten our episode title from Descript. It's processing the audio. Oh, audio looks good. It's going to process the transcript. That's done. And now we just click this button and it imports everything, the title, our audio file, and the transcript from Descript into Transistor, all in one step. So now all I have to do is add a summary. Here's a new feature. Add our show notes. And click Publish. And it's done. It's the easiest, fastest way to record and edit your podcast in Descript and then publish it and distribute it to all your listeners in Transistor. Really excited about this integration, and it's live right now. If you use Descript, you can see Transistor in your export menu.